And then for the second debt, it's the same idea. Now we have $1,000 as the present value. So in present value, we put $1,000 as the debt. We put $1,000 as the present value. And then $1,000 is 9 months from now. So when we're looking at the time between the two dates, 9 months from now and 24 months from now, so the time between 9 months from now and 24 months from now, we know that there are 15 months. So we know that there are 15 months between 9 months from now and 24 months from now. So 15 months between those two dates. So therefore, when we think about it, because we're looking for number of period, one period is 1 quarter. So 1 quarter is 3 months. So in 15 months, we have 5 quarters because each quarter is 3 months. So in 15 months, we take 15 divided by 3, and that will give you the 5 quarters or 5 period. And that's how we get the n here. N equals to 5 because in 15 months, we have 5 quarters. We have 5 periods. And the rest of the number is the same, 7% IY, 4% for CY, PMT 0 by assumptions, and then PY equals to CY by assumptions. So that's for the second debt. And we're plugging in the same way on the financial calculator. You will see that there's a pattern. It's easy. The pattern is the same. Second function PY, 4, enter, arrow down, 4, enter. Once we put in the PY and CY, we put in the N. So we'll put 5, number first, and then we press N to set the number of period to 5. And then we put 7 IY, and that will set our nominal interest rate to 7. And then PV is 1,000. So 1,000 PV, that will set our present value to 1,000. And then 0 for PMT, that will set our payment to 0. And then we press compute, future value, and then we're going to get the future value equals to $1,090.62. So that's for the second debt. So now we're going to find out the future value of the first payment. And the only difference in the setup of the equation is that now our present value is the $29.60. That is our present value because we're converting this cash flow, $29.60, to the focal date, to the future value, 24 months from now. So that's our present value. And when we're calculating N is based on the days between the two dates. So between the 15 months from now to 24 months from now, that is 9 months. So there's a 9 month gap between those two dates. So in 9 months, we have 3 quarters because 1 quarter is 3 months. So in 9 months, we take 9 divided by 3, and that will give you the 3. So in 9 months, we have 3 quarters. So again, the concept that you need to understand is that when we're calculating N is always based on the time in between the two dates. That's how we find N. So once we have all these numbers filled in, the rest of the numbers the same, right? So 7% for IY, compounding is 4 times a year, and then PMT and PY are by assumptions. Once we have those 6 items filled out, then we can solve for the future value, same steps. So once you get used to the financial calculator, you can see that this is repetitive because the steps are the same every time. So second function, PY, 4, enter, you go down to CY, 4, enter, and then you clear bottom left corner. And then you press the 3, and then you press N, so number first to set the number of period to 3, and then you press 7, IY, that will set your nominal interest rate to 7, and then 29.60.27. And then you press PV, that will set your present value to 29.60.27, and then you press 0 for PMT. Once you have typed in the 6 items, then you press compute, future value, and then you're going to get 3118.42, and that's what we have here. So once we have found out the future value of these 3 cash flows, then we can calculate for X. And what we know is that at the focal date, the value of the 2 debts, the future value of these 2 debts, has to equal to the value of the 2 payments. So therefore, the future value of the 2 debts that we calculated here, we're going to add them up. So, and then the future value of these 2 debts will equal to the value of the 2 payments. So in order for us to find X, what we're going to do is we're going to add the future value of these 2 debts, and then we're going to subtract from the future value of the first payment, which is the 3118, and then you're going to get X equals to 6,076.81, and that's your answer for example 2.